Breaking news into CBS Sports HQ. The Seahawks are trading DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to multiple reports. The Steelers are sending a 2025 second-round pick to Seattle. Metcalf requested a trade on Wednesday. The Seahawks have honored that request, and the Steelers are reportedly honoring Metcalf with a new 5-year, $150 million contract. And for more on DK Metcalf to the Steelers, we say hello to CBS Sports lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones. How does this deal work? Steelers' second-round pick goes to Seattle, DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh for a new contract as well. How does this work for both teams?
So the Pittsburgh Steelers have for some time wanted to get another wide receiver, right? We know that they were in the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes dating back to last year, obviously missed out on him. And so they have been looking far and wide for another wide receiver. And then DK Metcalf comes available in Seattle as they start to do a little bit of a house cleansing for themselves. Second round pick, you know, that's fairly pricey, especially when you have to give a contract extension to the player. But Pittsburgh, obviously, again, wanting a wide receiver, needing a wide receiver opposite George Pickens. And so determining that that is worth the cost for them to go out and get DK Metcalf. I know that there were some reports out there that he wanted warm weather. Certainly, that was a preference of his. You know, the LA Chargers were believed to be a top candidate to get his services. The New England Patriots also certainly interested, Carolina Panthers, Houston Texans. But it's the Pittsburgh Steelers who quietly, with a second-round pick and a very large contract averaging $30 million per year, ultimately land DK Metcalf.
All right, so the big question then becomes, who's throwing him the ball? Who's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully within a day, the Steelers will know who their quarterback is going to be. They had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields this past year. They said throughout the year they'd love if they could have both of them back. That was never realistic. But then at the end of the year, it became very clear that the Steelers would rather have Justin Fields than Russell Wilson, despite, of course, benching Justin Fields. Could it be Fields that signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Yeah, it's possible. However, multiple sources have indicated to me that the New York Jets are a top, leading, at the top candidate for Justin Fields, however you want to phrase that or frame it. A lot of people believe that Justin Fields is either going to go to the Steelers or he's going to go to the Jets. And so we certainly will see how that handles itself. Another quarterback that could potentially go to Pittsburgh is Aaron Rodgers. That is a possibility for him. Minnesota is going to be a possibility for him. The New York Giants are a possibility, and so are the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this quarterback carousel right now, there shouldn't be anything else going on on Sunday night as it relates to the quarterbacks, because these guys are still technically with their teams. They are not yet free agents. And so we certainly will see once we get to 12 p.m. Eastern on Monday for, and we all love this phrase, Russ, the legal tampering window.
Oh, the legal, exactly. Look, I got one more question for you, and it's about Seattle. Because you talk about a team that now needs a quarterback and a receiver one. I mean, this is a total teardown? Is that what's going on here? Who are they putting on the field next year?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the entire plan for the Seattle Seahawks takes form and takes shape. Are they just going to be a ground and pound team, right? Going ahead and letting go of Tyler Lockett and trading a DK Metcalf. You have a defensive head coach. So is that what you're going to do, is just try to dominate teams and break their will at the line of scrimmage on the offensive side? That'll be interesting for me to see. Yes, a lot of talk around Sam Darnold being the next Seattle Seahawks quarterback. And I think that if you ask me what is the best possibility, that is probably the best possibility out there. That ultimately Darnold is going to secure a deal that will be a multi-year deal with guarantees for multiple years that will land him in Seattle. But again, we all have to wait until Monday for any of that to be unofficially official.
Well, even before legal tampering begins with the NFL, Jonathan Jones hard at work on a Sunday with a lot of breaking news. And we thank you so much, JJ, for spending your time with us. All right, here are the largest contracts in Steelers history. And by the way, DK Metcalf is about to sign it reportedly. It's a 5-year deal worth $150 million after Metcalf is traded from Seattle for a second-round pick in the.
Breaking news here on HQ. Browns defensive end Myles Garrett has just become the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. That is according to our NFL insider Jonathan Jones. It's an extension to stay in Cleveland worth more than $40 million a year. 123.5 of that is guaranteed. As we give you a look at the highest paid non-quarterbacks currently in the NFL, Garrett tops the list, followed by Max Crosby. So you either rush the passer or you catch the passes, and you're in for something of a payday when you do it at an elite level. Of course, the context to this, Garrett was demanding a trade from Cleveland, saying he was intent on leaving the Browns. Not anymore with this new contract extension. Breaking news all over the place here in the NFL on this Sunday. No one better to bring in than our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Okay, Jonathan, I mean, boy, nice quiet Sunday for you here. We'll start with Garrett before we move on to other breaking news with a pass rusher. What do you make of this? I know everybody says, you know, money isn't everything, but it seems to have certainly spoken in Cleveland.
Well, the Cleveland Browns, speaking of speaking, the Browns were always saying they weren't moving Myles Garrett. Sometimes you have to believe folks at their word. Andrew Berry reiterated it over and over again. Myles Garrett, of course, he wanted to trade out of Cleveland, or at least that is what he said. Sometimes these are negotiating tactics, right? And what we were reporting at the NFL Combine more than a week ago in Indianapolis was it was likely that Myles Garrett would rescind his trade request if he were made the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The Browns went above and beyond, right? I mean, we had the graphic up a bit ago where it was 35.5 with Max Crosby. It is very, very rare to see any NFL team go $3.5 million over the market, over the top of the market. But that is what the Browns have ultimately done here with Myles Garrett, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. He is a remarkable pass rusher. And look, this is also the sort of math that the Browns have made. As he gets closer to 30, the Browns believe that Myles Garrett is a first ballot Hall of Famer who is going to continue his career trajectory into his 30s, a la Julius Peppers. That's who they believe Myles Garrett ultimately is going to be, an all-decades player in his 20s who will continue to be an all-decades player in his 30s. We see right there where he is on that list. Also, what is interesting to note here, because he is the highest paid non-quarterback